Hey guys, Nuan here with Movie Slinger Reviews, and now we are going to part two of our discussion on the Disney live action remakes. So we did the classic movies, so let's move on to the 90s Renaissance. I think our favorite period, is it correct if I say that? Yeah. I can see you're already excited, Nilendra. So first of all, let's talk about Beauty and the Beast, directed by Bill Condon. So how did you guys feel about this movie? The live
Yeah,
action
I
remake of
really liked it because I think that was like the first one where you got the sense that this was like it was more or less a very much like trying to like recapture what that original was. So
it capture you felt like
I
it
felt like
captured
it
the
captured
essence
it,
of
yeah.
the animated one.
Yeah, in terms of the characters, in terms of the humor, even in terms of the inanimate characters, I think they did a good job.
They did a good job. And I think the two main characters, they were really good. I mean, they got Emma Watson and Dan Stevens, and they had perfect chemistry. And I thought, yeah. And the supporting cast was also really good. Gaston was Luke Evans.
Luke Evans.
Yeah. You liked Gaston.
I like Gaston. I like.
And
I like them
LeFou
most.
as well. LeFou was Josh Gad. The clock was Ian McKellen. Lumiere was Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
They
yeah.
had Emma Thompson and Stanley Tucci was the harpsichord.
I was reaching for Ewan McGregor. I was just skip Jesus.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Hello
Obi-Wan Jesus.
But they were really good, right? And I remember the whole movie. I was trying to figure out who was Lumiere, because he had the French accent, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to I was raking my mind. I was trying to figure out who this guy was, and it's like, oh, it's Ewan McGregor. So that was a nice surprise. And Luke Evans was very charismatic as Gaston. I thought the CGI characters were animated really well. All the staff, the household staff, that was really good. What did you think about the story? What do you guys feel about the story? Was it faithful to the original?
Faithful. It was excellent. It was excellent done.
Okay. Because I haven't watched the animated movie.
What?
I have not watched it. So I went in.
We had to stop the recording now. We had to stop the recording
so
now.
I went in. So I went in without any expectations. So you saying it being faithful, I think that's a big deal. We both liked it. We both liked it. So I think that's a good thing. So you have a hardcore fan and somebody who hasn't watched it, and we both enjoyed it. So that means they've done a good job.
They've done a good job.
Yeah.
It didn't deviate too much from the storyline originally, and no, even the things which they might have added, it didn't feel like too much of an addition. Or,
Yeah.
You know?
They added a few things, I think, to the backstory here and there.
I guess.
But I think
That's
that's
the mother's backstory and all.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think felt it was not really required to
Okay.
that extent, but it didn't really affect the film. And also some of
Okay.
the new additions, like the Beast song, I think was a
okay.
good.
The Beast
good song
song
was
in
very
particular
good
was
addition,
really
yeah.
good, and I really fell in love with the main theme, the Beauty and the Beast song. I remember I was humming it for a few days after that, and I remember you were singing along while we were watching, because the three of us went together, I think. So we watched it together, and this guy was singing along to every
Although,
song.
to be fair, I was singing for Jungle Book as well. Ooby doo.
And going back to the part you mentioned about the adding little bits of story, I felt like, in animation, right? I think you can get away with not having a backstory for some of the characters. You can introduce a character and go with it. But I think when you move into live action, you kind of have to give a little bit more, and you need to give time for the characters to interact. And I think one thing they really did right was that they allowed Dan Stevens and Emma Watson to interact a lot. So there we get to see that kind of connection between them. And I think when you go into live action, you have to do that. And I think that's the mistake Maleficent made, because we talked about this earlier, and I felt like they didn't give enough time for the actors to actually have that connection. So it felt kind of rushed, and that's why I felt I didn't care about the characters. But in Beauty and the Beast, I really liked those characters, and we grew to care about them. So even though I wasn't like a huge fan, I was totally invested in that story.
What I would like to say is, I mean, they have more freedom with like Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, because those things aren't in our recent memory as much.
True.
Whereas Beauty and the Beast and the Renaissance
is.
ones are in our memory.
Yeah.
We think about them all the time, and then
And also,
like-
Beauty and the Beast, and especially Aladdin and Lion King, were stuff that was famous in the 90s. So we grew up watching those movies, right? So it's still kind of in our memory. We always remember that, we feel nostalgic about it. And now the 90s kids have sort of grown up, and everybody's waiting for these 90s Renaissance movies. So Disney knows, right, they can make a lot of money. Let's briefly stop on this older movie, Dumbo, which recently came out. I don't think you guys watched this one. You guys didn't watch this one, right? Now,
Yeah.
I watched this one. I thought it was all right, right? So I thought, Dumbo was really cute. I mean, I guess that's the cheapest and easiest way to get an emotional response from the audience. You put an animal character and make it look cute. People are gonna react to that. And but I thought the most interesting thing, and this is why I wanted to talk about this movie briefly. The most interesting thing about this movie was the villain, played by Michael Keaton. So I will first describe this villain, okay? He owns a theme park, right? He buys smaller circus groups and steals their act, right?
Ooh.
And then he fires everyone, all the other employees that he doesn't need. So does that ring a bell? Like,
It does kind of. I'm thinking about a mustache guy.
what's his name again?
No, I can't remember. Something like
Walter.
Walter.
Okay. So obviously we are talking about Walt Disney. And it's kind of weird that Walt, it's the Walt Disney company that made this movie. So I don't know how Tim Burton got away with this.
I mean, here's it. Okay.
But they don't really care, I guess.
when you talk about Disney company and Disney animation, okay, they're taking like our bedtime stories, doing admittedly great renditions of it.
Yeah.
Then copywriting it, merchandising it, okay. I mean, when you go into the copyright this thing, right? They've literally got a stranglehold on the copyright law.
True. And they had the copyrights for like Mickey for like a really long time, and I think they managed to get it extended.
They got to extend it, so you
Because
can't do
they
anything
threw their weight around and they kind of managed to get it extended.
Yeah, because I guess they made the argument that Mickey was integral to their company image.
True.
But then if they extend it for everything else, like the genie or anything like that, I mean, there's no creativity at all.
Yeah.
That's just different. And that's how they made the business. They just stole everything else.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at a lot of the stories that Disney does cover through the animated, they are fairy tales that have like it predates Disney most
Yeah.
of it. So
but
to
but
get
they've
a
done those movies in such a way
Yeah.
that people associate those stories with Disney now.
Yeah.
People immediately think, when they say Cinderella, people immediately think of the Disney version. Even something like the Jungle Book, right? There's so many different versions, but people always think about the Disney one. That they think of
Yeah.
Disney. So yeah,
And,
it's sort of in the public consciousness.
And just a small story that I heard recently on a podcast when it was something that was looking at the Snow White, which is like the first animated film that is in like a feature length film. So that was in 1937. And just to give you an idea of sort of like how Walt Disney was kind of approaching even that sort of that merchandising approach.
Okay.
So he basically took out like a TV sort of like a commercial or like an ad where Walt Disney, he comes on and basically like explains the different dwarves, like introducing them.
The lovable seven dwarfs. But let Walt Disney tell you about them himself.
And when it comes to the animation, they very much had it in mind that each of the dwarfs have to kind of like be unique. They
Okay.
each have their own unique walk, they have their unique look. So it was very much with that eye of like merchandising. And I think another one.
So you can sell multiple
I
toys.
actually saw what he was talking about because it was an additional feature on the VHS.
it
Yeah.
was like a special
It
feature.
was a special
Oh, okay.
feature,
I think he was supposed to like promote like something else but
Okay.
for their channel, and he used that time for that. And I think, yeah.
20 minutes into the after the VHS, so before the VHS, he had the special featurette from Walt Disney.
Oh, okay. So
I think-
did he do that for all the other movies?
No, I think it was
Back
for
in
this
the
because this was the first one, so he was
Okay.
like.
He
And I
wanted to
think
push that one.
Yeah,
okay.
I think another small story with that was that the actress who sang as Snow White, who was voicing Snow White, so Walt Disney had put a contract for her that she was not allowed to give her voice for anything else
Right.
in any
So she
future.
signed
in the
a
future,
contract.
she signed a contract forever, and only for like these very minor roles she signed managed to do
Okay.
that, but she was not allowed to do that. So
Wow.
that's that Easter egg.
And last but not least is Dopey. He's nice, but sort of silly.
Okay, so we have Aladdin now, directed by Guy Ritchie. So you guys can check out my review. So my full thoughts are there. I'll put a link in the description. But I want to know, because we never talked after watching Aladdin. What did you think about this, Nilendra?
It was good.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of additions.
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems,
Okay.
but I think they'll make a lot
Overall,
of money.
overall, you enjoyed it.
It's
Mhm.
fun.
Personally, I thought for me, this is my favorite Disney live action movie out of out of what has already been done, maybe of course there is the issue that so I could be a little biased here because I actually have watched Aladdin growing up, so it's one of my favorite movies growing up. So there is that nostalgia factor as well. So it could be a reason why I like this more than the other ones. What did you feel, Travis?
Yeah, very much the same thought. That
Okay.
I thought that compared, I mean, even though I really like Beauty and the Beast as
Mhm.
well, I think partly it's because of my bias again.
Okay.
Because of Aladdin, I think
There's
I
something
connected more
special
with
about
this.
it.
And also, I feel like, I mean, a big part of Aladdin versus Beauty and the Beast was, I think the songs are stronger in Aladdin. It's something that there's a lot of really good songs in it, and the film really did a good job executing it.
And
Really
I
well.
was also like, unlike Beauty and the Beast, I know all the songs in Aladdin, so I was singing along just like you the first time I was watching it. I know I made fun of him the last time, but
You
yeah,
have brought him to the dark side.
I have.
Welcome
and,
to House Mouse.
But I already knew all the songs anyway. But anyway, let's get back to the movie. I thought Will Smith was really awesome. I thought he was really good as the genie, and I thought he was probably the only person alive today who can probably come close to what Robin Williams did, and I thought he really delivered. And I know a lot of people were worried about him when they saw the CGI genie in the trailers, and he didn't look very good. But I thought he was so adorable and so likable that once it started, you kind of accepted it. And even though the CGI sometimes didn't always look good, it still didn't matter because he was so charismatic. What did you feel about Will Smith?
Myself, my wife, and I, we were very worried because, I mean, Robin Williams was just so amazing.
He was so amazing.
He was so amazing, and watching the original one, you have all those, the
references.
references,
Yeah.
Ever impressive.
Excuse me? Are you looking at me? Did you rub my lamp?
Right, Sparky, here's the deal.
Jack
Yeah.
Nicklaus reference. All right, Sparky, here's the deal.
But he actually did most
Yeah.
of that, and he did
He
his.
did, yeah.
He kind of he
did
made
his own thing.
his own character, right?
Yeah, but also I think he brought that character down so that it didn't overpower all the other characters.
That is true, and he was actually a little more humanized than
Humanized.
before.
But that's kind of the thing, right?
Mm.
I mean, Robin Williams was the breakout star for the original one, as in no one cares about
But here,
anyone else.
I think it wasn't just that. It was, I thought, like I said earlier, I liked Mina Masood and
Yeah.
Naomi Scott. I thought they were better than their animated counterparts. So I thought that was done much better.
Yeah.
And I also like the little bits of backstory they added
Mhm.
because I feel like they improved the story in some areas. Also, I love the jam scene. Do you remember the jam scene? It was the most Guy Ritchie moment in the entire movie.
jam. Okay.
Yes, here we are. Gifts coming right up. We have spices, golden camels. We have jams.
Jam?
Yes, jams. Yam jams, fig jams,
Yum
and
jams.
date jams. Seedless, delicious, exotic jams.
Move away from the jam.
So that was typical Guy Ritchie. So I really loved that scene. And I thought the humor was quite good
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think, just adding on to what Nirendra said, so in terms of, a big part of that original animated one was Robin Williams' character.
Mm-mm.
In a sense, you felt like if he was not there, maybe it would not have
Yeah, yeah.
succeeded the same way. But, I agree that, it was a good decision that they sort of toned down Will Smith's role, but, also
Yeah.
giving time for the other characters to
Yeah,
shine.
true,
as
true,
well.
There were a few things that kind of annoyed me a little bit. One was, even though I liked Jasmine's song, I liked her song,
Yeah.
but then the part where she starts singing it at the end, towards the end, the second time, the first
Yeah.
time was fine. The second time when she started singing, I thought it interrupted the moment, and it was kind of unnecessary. I like the scene though. I like the scene. I like what she's doing in that scene.
That's the thing, Sanjeeva. You gotta make money on the iTunes now, so you gotta have a Let It Go.
You need a new hit.
You need a new hit.
Yeah.
Teenage girls got to have something to walk to school and just blossom in the gym.
Well,
It's like-
everybody's going to be dressing as
and
Jasmine now.
Yeah, and they can't be seen. They don't want to be kept silent, so they have to have something to listen to.
Did you like the new song? Just the song. I'm not talking about that scene. I'm talking about the song.
Just the song.
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad.
I mean,
But no, I mean,
they're not the demographic that it
that is
appeals
true.
to. So
True.
we're kind of
But I
biased.
loved all the other songs. I loved the scene where the Prince Ali scene on the streets where they show up. That was really
that.
cool.
That was good. I had a problem with the first song, One Step Ahead of the Bread. No, One Step Ahead of
The
the
introduction
Breadline,
song.
The introduction song.
Oh, really?
Because that was a huge rush in the movie because they kind of merged Aladdin meeting Jasmine and doing that because in the original
Yeah.
he sings it alone trying to escape
Yeah,
the guards.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas-
True. Correct.
Where,
But I felt like, okay, you have to introduce their relationship.
Yeah.
So I felt like it would be a bit of a waste of time if you have Aladdin alone with one scene and then again another scene with
Scene,
Jasmine.
yeah.
So I thought,
but no,
yeah.
I think it's because they have some stuff in. I mean, when I was watching it, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so there's probably going to be something more they want to show in later on.
Okay.
So I mean, then I found out, okay, it's the romance of the genie and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the introduction with the genie.
Not just that, the whole romance storyline of the genie. That's
I didn't mind that. I actually didn't
it,
mind
wa-
that.
it wasn't mine,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's probably what they want to make time with, as well
Okay.
as the whole female,
True.
the whole Jasmine taking power storyline. That
Okay.
I mean, it didn't add anything
Okay.
much to, but that it would make a huge difference.
Okay.
So,
But I
just
felt
didn't
like,
that.
since they were going to make the genie a little bit more humanized, I feel like it's okay to give him that backstory and some additional motivation. You can see why he wants to be human. So I thought that was all right having that, and I thought I like that actress who played the handmaiden. She was funny. I thought that was really funny. What did you think about Jafar? Because I feel a lot of people that's the big weakness. What
Because
did you
if you
feel?
look in the original, I mean, there was like a lot of comedic moments.
Yeah.
I mean, he's menacing, but he's also like has
He's
these,
funny.
He was funny.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything, and with his interactions with Iago.
Exactly.
And all.
And I
Yeah,
love the
so-
scenes where he would go into the cave, his lair, and then Iago would be like, "Hey, master, why don't we do this?" And then he's like, "Oh, that's a good idea, Iago." And then they would laugh menacingly. And so that aspect was missing.
Yeah.
But I like Jafar in the
Yeah.
movie. I like that they gave him a bit of a backstory. So I actually didn't mind. But I wish he was a little more funnier, I guess.
Yeah, but I guess it's also because they made that choice to like make it a more like a realistic portrayal of
Yeah,
Jafar,
yeah,
even
yeah,
the sort of the way they show
Yeah.
him using his like magic or whatever. It's like very toned down,
Toned
very
down, yeah.
realistic compared
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. What did you feel about this, Nilendra?
I have a bigger problem with Iago. Why couldn't they get Gilbert Gottfried again?
I don't know why they didn't do that.
And how about this picture? I don't know. I think I'm making a weird face in it. Jafar! Jafar! Get a grip! Good grip.
Well,
That
they
movie
went with,
was so much
Alan
funnier.
Tudyk, but I think what I think they toned down Iago as well,
Yeah.
because in the cartoon, right, Iago is more of a character. He will actually interact a lot more.
And so is Abu, actually, technically.
Abu. I didn't mind Abu, but
Abu,
the thing that I missed was a little bit of Iago.
Iago.
I would have liked a little bit more personality from Iago.
So,
So-
I mean, like, if they redo Hercules, are they going to get an actual quote for Phil?
I'm guessing. Hey, they can get James McAvoy. He played a half goat, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, let's talk about the Disney's upcoming movies. So, I'll tell you what's announced right now. So, we have The Lion King coming very soon, and at the end of the year, there's a bunch of movies coming which I wasn't even aware of, right? So, in October we have Maleficent 2 called The Mistress of Evil, and then A Lady and the Tramp in November. I was not aware of that. And then next year, March, there's Mulan. And in December, there's a Cruella, which is, I'm guessing, supposed to be some. We checked this in the morning, and it's supposed to be some kind of origin story.
Yeah, I think an origin story for Cruella. So yeah,
So weird.
set in the past,
So,
yeah.
what are the movies that you guys are interested in?
Yeah, I think I think I said earlier as well, I'm a bit reserved when it comes to the sort of like the animal, like the Lion
like
King
the
one,
Lion King.
the Lion King one. So because I think looking at the Lion King, I think that look was like very iconic and
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
The sort of
And it
the
was very
colours and
bright.
it was
The
very bright.
animation looked very bright
Yeah.
with the colors and
Yeah, so I think that animation was like a big part of the.
What
integral
made it-
part of
what made it,
like,
yeah,
great.
special.
So it'll be very challenging, but it'll be interesting to see what they try to do.
And I remember I watched the trailer for The Lion King, right? And I realized they don't show a lot of footage where the animals are talking. And the little bit they did talk, it did reminded me a little bit of The Jungle Book, and that got me a little worried. It's what I talked about earlier, but I am gonna give it a chance because I like the cast. They got Chiwetel Ejiofor for Scar. They got Seth Rogen for Pumbaa. Danny Glover is Simba. John Oliver is there. Very excited for that. And James Earl Jones is, of course, Mufasa again. So I really like that cast. So because of that, I want to give it a shot. What do you feel, Nilendra? Are you excited for The Lion King?
Lion King is. I have high hopes for Lion King. I think
okay.
I think they're gonna do really good.
And you
It's
liked the Jungle Book, the animation style of the Jungle
Jungle Book.
which I didn't like.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing you are okay with the realistic look.
I'm okay with the realistic look. I think they're gonna do really well with this because you know why? The ones that do well are the musicals, the stuff that has the music,
Musicals.
and the ones that have proven themselves on Broadway also. Because
true.
Aladdin was
Aladdin.
Broadway this thing,
Beauty and the Beast,
Beauty
and
and
of
the
course
Beast.
Lion King.
and Lion King. As
I think they finally figured out the formula.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta have songs, and you gotta have so you gotta cash in on that nostalgia a bit,
nostalgia.
right? And then
Take the
yeah.
nostalgia and just
Yeah, and also focus on the 90s Renaissance because I think that is the era that people remember a lot. So I think they figured it out.
Yeah. Now you were announcing Cruella. Do I want
Okay,
an
there's a-
origin story for Cruella? De
I
Vil?
don't know. I'm not really interested. I mean, I
She
don't.
makes quotes from dogs. That's all I need to know. That's evil enough. Evil.
So Travis, you said that Emma Stone is going to be Cruella.
Yeah, from what they've announced so far, I think it was her, and I think she is basically not the villain in this.
So
I
there's
think
a there's a bigger villain.
There's a bigger villain to her. Yeah.
So Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, I think, is rumored to be that
Okay.
villain. Which,
I mean, I don't really remember much from the live action they did in the 90s, but I remember Glenn Close.
yes.
I thought she was good.
was very
but
good,
that's the
yeah,
only thing I
she was very
remember. And of course, the dogs were cute. So,
yeah.
what about the Mistress of Evil, this Maleficent sequel? I mean, I hope. Okay, look, they got Angelina Jolie back, right? So that's a good thing. But I hope they don't repeat the same mistakes they made in the first one. So there's potential, but
I think this time, like to the point I mentioned earlier, the problem was that one possible reason why there was problems was because they had to tie it very closely with the Sleeping Beauty storyline. But now I'm guessing they are moving ahead from it, so probably they might be able to do something different.
I want to say that I heard that they're gonna cast it like a good versus evil thing.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna be like Alice in Wonderland. That the good army of the good versus army of the evil.
I would like to see some battles because one of my favorite parts in the original Maleficent, the first one, was the battle between the human
battle, the
army
army.
and those tree guardians or whatever. Okay, let's talk about the movie that I'm actually excited for, Mulan.
Ooh,
Right? So again another movie that I haven't watched. Don't kill me, Nilendra. But here's the thing. I love
What's the point of doing this? What's the point?
See, that's why I brought you. I do like everything I heard about this movie. So it's going to be this epic war film.
Yep.
And they originally approached Ang Lee to direct. So actually he declined, which sucks. But still, that gives us an idea of what they're going for, the kind of direction they're going for.
Huge.
I mean, as soon as they mentioned Ang Lee, I was like, okay, they want something like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
So which is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I think the fact that they even went after him is a good sign. And I'm really excited for this Chinese cast that they have announced. So they have Donnie Yen, they got Jet Li, they have Gong Li, they have a lot of Lees, I guess. So really excited for this. What about you guys?
Yeah. Okay. I've seen some early Chinese films. They do huge battles really well.
Yeah.
Like with
War
huge,
movies are really good. Yeah.
like arrows flying and trebuchets and stuff like that. They
and
do
the action, they know how to do the action.
And
they get a
they like to do
choreographer.
in the films they like to do the one-on-one duel. The heroes see each other and then they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you. But everyone else
So
is fighting.
in the
around
middle
us.
of the battle, the hero and the
Heroes
villain
is-
is fighting. Yeah.
The hero and the
True,
villain is
true, true.
fighting. So they want to have that huge thing. So yeah, they're gonna make it a good. And the songs are gonna be iconic because we have I'll Make a Man Out of You and Reflection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very much a film that very much looking forward to, because again it's like one of my favorites as well. And I mean, looking at even the animated film, they do touch on a lot of I think they don't shirk away from like the violence aspect of it. I mean, so good to see that they might hoping that they do like a break.
Let's also discuss this whole thing about like casting the native.
Yeah. I think
relevant
that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really liked about Aladdin was that they got most of the people they got were from Indian or Middle Eastern descent. So you got to see a lot of new faces that you normally don't see. So I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah. So now they're going for more Chinese. This thing.
Of course, it have to be all Chinese.
It'd
It's
be
set
very
in
weird.
China.
So
It would be really out of place.
Why we already had that film. It's that Matt Damon film. It goes.
Oh yeah,
over the
there's
wall.
that really
Great
weird
Wall
Matt
thing.
Damon movie called The Great Wall.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch that. Did you watch that?
No, I know. I think I was forced to watch it because he was the only one on the plane that I hadn't watched.
Okay. Any other movies that you guys are interested in? Maybe not announced yet, but what would you like to see moving forward? Because right now they're doing the 90s Renaissance. So what next? You're thinking post-Renaissance? Anything you're excited? Anything you want to see?
For me, like if they were remaking one of the old ones, I would like them to go back to like Peter Pan. Like for me,
Okay.
that was like a very like a. Like
But
from
you know,
a very
we
childhood,
actually
that
got
was
a
good.
Peter Pan
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
But that was not Disney, right?
There was Hook.
There was a
I'm not sure.
sequel to
There was a
Hook.
Sequel to Hook as well.
I'm not sure. The one with Hugh Jackman?
Okay.
I didn't watch that one.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused where that movie stands.
Yeah.
Whether it was Disney or not, I'm not really sure about that. But you would like to see?
Yeah, I would like if they were remaking something. I think that would be there. But yeah, that was Hook. No?
Yeah.
Return to Neverland.
Return to Neverland. No, that was Robin Williams as a Peter Pan who's grown
There
up.
was an old, I think,
Yeah.
in the 90s or in the late 80s, they had a movie called Hook, which was like a big hit at the time.
Right. Yeah. That's the one I yeah.
But that was not
that
Disney.
did not have Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman did a later one.
Any other movies that you're interested in?
Pocahontas.
You want to see a Pocahontas? So that was sort of like the late post-Renaissance, right? Late
Post-
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of these films. Hercules.
Hercules? Actually, I would be very
Very
interested in
interested
seeing
in
Hercules because
Hercules.
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know it's sort of like a Superman movie, but hey, I like.
But
Superman. I
it's-
like
it's-
Superman, and I like.
It's kind of the Superman of its day was Hercules.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so. And,
It was
and
very
then
similar.
they all about the whole merchandising Hercules dolls and
Oh, yeah.
Herculade and
It was kind of meta there.
yeah and
Yeah.
Hercules
And also like Hades in Hercules
Hades
was really fun.
good, yeah.
And recently there were some
James
rumors
Wood.
going around about some casting, nothing official,
Hmm.
but there were some rumors, and I don't really believe them right just yet. But maybe they are looking at this, so that might be interesting.
Another thing they could make thinking of a financial perspective, Little Mermaid. If they did a Little Mermaid remake,
Oh yeah.
that would make
Actually, that was one of the bigger hits of the 90s,
of
right?
the 90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
It started the Renaissance. That started the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, there was the one that
They
I mean
did-
everybody remembers Beauty and the Beast. I
Beast.
think it was sort
Because
of
like before that, they did what Rescuers Down Under and stuff like that. Good movies, kind of cult following.
okay.
But this was mainstream. Wow.
yeah,
okay,
I think
Disney's
it
back.
really exploded with
yeah. Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and then when Lion King hit, like it was all crazy.
And no, Little Mermaid was the one which started with the CGI.
Right,
incorporate-
right.
New animation with CGI because like the ship movements,
Okay.
piercing. So Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, and
Tarzan was the other one. I
okay,
think.
and Tarzan would be good as well.
Hmm.
With Phil Collins soundtrack. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be nice.
So you're also excited to see the Phil Collins soundtrack.
The Tarzan with Phil. If you can get Phil
I mean,
Collins.
I don't think he will return because all the songs that they're remaking,
Yeah.
they're getting new people. So
Yeah, true.
I doubt they will do that.
Lion King, I feel they have to do because I mean, a big part of that was the Elton John composition. So if I think they should get some.
Actually, Aladdin had Alan Menken credited.
Aladdin had two. So Aladdin has two versions, right? So you have the song in the movie, and then you have the pop version they release outside.
The
of
only
that.
thing they added was that silence breaking, the Let It Go remake.
Oh yeah, that new song.
That's the only thing that was added.
Do you listen to the songs that release outside the movie? I'm talking about the single where they get a celebrity to sing it.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
like those versions?
Actually, I did. I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
I like.
I like the Phil Collins one.
Yeah, the John Legend and
Okay.
Ariana Grande did Beauty and the Beast,
Okay.
and Josh. Yeah,
But
Evermore,
I
yes.
did not like the Aladdin one
I
that
did
they
not
got
like-
Zayn
yes.
Malik. I did
actually,
not like that version.
I had no problem with Zayn Malik. I did not like the female singer.
Okay.
can't
I just
remember.
listened to it one time and I
Yeah.
was like, no.
'Cause I thought because when you have the original one was Regina Hall and Bieber Bryson.
That original single
That
was
was-
really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. and
Usually I prefer the song in the movie which the actors are singing.
singing. Yeah.
I usually prefer that, but that line, the Aladdin song, that the single one,
Single one.
I like
Yeah.
that one as well.
No.
And of course the Elton John one,
I
which was like a
thought
classic.
Regina. Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember who it was.
I think Zayn Malik did okay.
Okay.
Did great.
Okay,
The female singer
You were
did
not
not
sure.
measure up to Regina Hall because
Okay.
Regina Hall was amazing.
she was
It like-
amazing.
yeah.
Okay,
I do want to mention. Okay, I mean, in the future, so these things are doing well. If they do well enough, we are talking about a Moana live action with The Rock.
I would think they would just make a sequel in animation for that,
Hmm.
because it's still too early. Still too early. I don't think they will do that.
But here's the thing. But okay, we're talking about if these things are successful, they'll need a new
New batch of movies.
New batch of
After
movies,
they
and then-
finish with the post Renaissance, what are they going to do?
Yeah, new batch of movies. So then we've got Tangled.
You know,
Yeah.
me and Travis, we talked about this on the way. We wondered maybe they can do like a cinematic universe, shared universe,
Ooh.
try to get everyone together. That might be interesting.
Done that to a certain extent with their TV series Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
So
So
they might try
maybe
something like
that might be interesting, something we haven't seen before.
Are you saying they're gonna do the fan theories and stuff like?
Yeah, why
Jane
not?
Is related to.
Why not? Why not?
Is it the same Prince Charming in all the films? In terms of like, I mean, no. So we are sort of like moving from like the animated to like the
Live action.
The live action. Maybe,
I mean,
I'm thinking
yeah.
maybe they should like instead of like they're sort of like riding this hype of trying to remake the Renaissance one. But I think they should also like go beyond it and maybe experiment a bit with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what Warner Brothers did with like Space Jam and things like that. Maybe like mix the mediums up and try something different.
Ready? Yeah! Doc.
Yeah.
You kick it in here. You go to the hole and dominate. We on defense.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! I don't play defense.
So, guys, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun. And thank you guys for watching. Tell us what your favorite live action Disney remake is and what you're excited to see in the future. Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do Hercules. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Movie Slinger out.